And good evening here, YouTube. I'm actually making a quick video here on a recent acquisition. I'll be blunt. I did not expect this to come in the condition that you see it in. I kind of expected this to be kind of a junker. It's a Federal Signal Model 14 Series A2, as you can see on the tag there. The giveaway is the full cast lamp holders in there, and the blue dome that has a clear top, non-frosted, so this would be correct for this light. By the way, they do make two versions of this dome. The newer ones are actually frosted up top here. They're not clear. You'd see the same color, except you just see it frosting, almost not totally. I guess there'd be not fully opaque, I guess is the term that I'm trying to think of here. So why am I bringing this up and why am I making a video? Well, besides the fact that this is a light, I am just flabbergasted at the condition that this light actually came to me in. Not gonna lie, I didn't really pay much for it. For those of you that are out there looking for these lights, and I know a lot of people look, oh, it's another Model 14, you know, whatever. Here's my advice. These beacons are becoming harder and harder to find. When they do find them, or when you do find them, people now want an arm and a leg. If you tend to stumble across an exceptionally good one, like I found here, again, I was not expecting this level of cleanliness. I mean, this is literally, all I did was pull it out of the box, maybe give it a wipe down to get some of the foam off of it, and there it is. Might as well give you a little bit of a rundown of what this light looks like and what some of the information on these Model 14 beacons are. So again, Model 14, Federal Signal Model 14, Series A2. Your dome, the retaining band down here, so on and so forth. I have cheated. Normally, these beacons are grounded to the apparatus. In other words, the ground is because of bolts. You can kind of see the holes on the inside. I'll point them out here as I open this up. The bolts ground, that creates your 12-volt ground, and then you have your hot wire, which I'm running out here. Obviously, black is ground, red is hot. When you want to open one of these guys up, you're going to spin this thing around, and I'm going to cheat. I'm not outside today, so bear with me. There's a little latch right here. The latch to open up pretty much just pulls out, and you'll hear it pop up. One hand, this is going to be a bit of a trick here. There we go. And then once the base is free, like it is now, you can actually then lift and pull this guy up and out. Now, here's what I'm going to do, because I'm doing this with one hand. I'm going to pause this real quick. I'll be right back as we take this off. Hold on. All right, so at this stage, I'm looking at the beacon minus the dome. The dome's over here, and the retaining band, like so. The retaining band, normally, just an FYI, I know a lot of people know this already, but when you take one of these lights apart, it's generally a good idea to get the dome out of the way first, as this thing can actually scratch the living nuts, or if you want to call it bejesus, out of your dome. So just a good piece of advice not to actually have this. Pull the dome off first, and then get this guy out of the way. So breaking it down even further, we've got the weather stripping, which is here. Again, for an old light, I mean, I'm actually super impressed at the condition of this light. Now, there's a couple things here to take a look at, just to give you a rundown. So, this is a Model Air Series A2. So, the Series A2 light basically means that these are still the full cast lamp holders. In other words, the newer ones, and on the Aero Twin Sonics, for example, you'd see these things with the cutouts, I guess they're called skeletized cutouts. These are full cast lamp holders. These lights in this age are getting more and more difficult to find. If you find one and it can be saved or it's in good condition, pick it up. I can't stress this enough. A lot of people are, again, as I mentioned before, telling me, oh, it's a Model 14, it's not that big a deal. Yeah, okay, say that to yourself in another 10, 15 years when everyone's like, hey, do you remember these lights were everywhere? Here's another thing. I know I did a review on a Model 14, actually I think it was a Target Tech a little bit earlier, I think it was probably a couple months ago. That one had the plastic lamp holders. Now there's an evolution on these guys. Obviously there was an A1, there's a Series A2, there's a Series A3, and then a Series A4. So the Series A1 and A2 had the full lamp holders like these, the full cast lamp holders. You'll also see the Federal, typical, if you want to call it the Twin Sonic, if you want to call it that, but a typical Type 2 Federal motor down here, which is actually the reason why I bought this light. I'm not going to lie. I picked this up because I saw this motor and a blue dome with clear. In other words, it was clear on the top, so it wasn't frosted whatsoever. That's why I picked this light up. I figured I can use this on one of my VisiBar projects, and I was just basically going to take this guy apart. Did not expect it to be as clean as it was, and this is what I come back with. Now, with the condition of this light, that's changed. I'm not going to do that. I may swap the dome because I can still use that blue dome on something else. But I've got a clear dome or another color dome. I've got some amber domes I might throw on there just so I can actually keep a correct federal dome on here. For those wondering about these lights, so the dome on here, you can still get these. Federal does still make them. This is an F2 dome. See if I can zoom on there. You can see the F2 that's sitting right there. The F2 dome is the size of the dome. The larger 4-lamp beacons are F3 domes. The smaller 2-lamp beacon like this is an F2 dome. So if you're looking for a dome from one of these guys, you can still get them. Just remember that it will have the frosted top. So let's get the anatomy of this. So the lamp holders here, like so. These are Twinsonic style lamp holders, Visibar style lamp holders. You then get down in here into the guts. We've got our hot wire coming in right here. This is obviously connected to the red or hot. This leads up and in. Everything else is bolted to this. So there's your ground. Hot wire comes up here and charges this copper plate. The copper plate also provides power via brushes here and here. That lights up the lamps. Coming down here, we've got another lead coming off this, which goes to the Federal Type 2 motor. This is what spins the lamps and causes the whole shebang to actually start rotating. It's really not that complicated of a setup. A lot of people are, ask me what's the difference between the Visibar and a Model 14. Well, externally, I'm not really going to call it a Visibar. Visibar is a generic term used for the actual light bar itself that these beacons mount to. Let's call it a Model 11 twin beacon ray. How's that? That'll work better. So a Model 11 twin beacon ray has one big difference between the Model 14 and the Model 11. Now, first off, that you could mount these bars, or these beacons, these Model 14s, on a Visibar, and they would be an independently driven beacon, or if you want to call it independently driven Visibar. Right, that's the big deal. However, with the Model 11s, you had one beacon that was like this. It had the motor. It had your gearbox, everything like you see here. However, on the bottom, and this one doesn't have it because it's not a Model 11, on the bottom that would be drilled out, and there would be a cog coming out of the bottom that connected to a chain similar to the Twinsonic, or the, if you want to call it, some of the Jetstream or the Jetsonic videos I've got, the Aero Twinsonic. Basically, one of these is a master beacon. The other one then becomes a slave beacon, and what that means is that same setup, beacons, copper plate, wire coming into it. However, it would not have any motor, and it would not have any drive. So without any motor, there wouldn't be any drive axle there. Instead, the master beacon would power the entire bar, send a chain to the other side, go to the slave beacon, and spin this just like it does with the like I said, Twinsonic, the Aero Twinsonic, the Jetsonic. You get where I'm going with this. The chain-driven ones, it's the same thing. That's the huge difference between a Model 11 beacon ray or a Model 11 twin beacon ray, or commonly called the Visibar, and an actual Model 14. Other than that, there is no difference. Why do I mention this? Well, oftentimes I get people that come to me and say, hey, I've got one of these bars. What am I looking at? Yada, yada, yada. People are really, really surprised when I point out the fact that you could literally take the beacons off of a Model 11, or basically Model 11 Visibar or twin beacon ray. Take one, take the cog off it, and now you've got a Model 14. Put a motor in the second one, the slave beacon, and now you've got two Model 14s. Oftentimes, departments, when one beacon failed, or if the chain got messed up inside the Visibar, which happened frequently, they would literally just add the motor and the drive cage to the slave beacon, and you'd have two independently running beacons. That's it, in a nutshell. So, with that said, let's go ahead and power this guy up, and let's see what the deal is with this, and you can hear how quiet this is. Again, I'm very impressed with this light. This light is very smooth and very clean. There's really nothing I need to do to it. So bear with me a moment here. Now what I'm going to do is actually power this guy up, and we're going to go ahead and actually listen. You can hear how quiet this runs. Very smooth running light. I'm quite impressed by this, actually. Now, typically, these bulbs, or this older Model 14, would have two 4464 GE par 36 lamps in there. I believe those are 60-watt bulbs normally in here. I just checked on this, and no, these are actually 4416s. which are actually 35 watt. I think the 30 or 35 watt, somebody will correct me, lamps. So it's the slightly less power. The 4464 bulbs are really hard to find anymore. The 4416s are pretty common. So, I mean, you can still find them pretty readily. For reality's sake, for display purposes, the 4416s work. Obviously, it's a spot bulb. It's just not the correct 4464s that you could put in here. But if you listen, and I'll get close in here, listen how quiet that is. I mean, that's amazing. Frequently on these lights like this, there's at least some chatter. There really is none. You can really hear no chatter on this. So what I'm going to do now is let's go ahead and actually put the dome and the band back on it. And let me see if I can get you some video with it running with the dome on it. It runs pretty well. So I've gone ahead and actually reassembled the light back to where it should be. The band's back on it, put the gasket back in, I put the band back on it, dome's back in place. Let's fire this up, let's get some video of it running. Again, the dome itself is actually in excellent shape. That was one of the reasons why I went and picked this light up, is because I wanted a clear blue top dome for another light. The other thing I really wanted out of this light was that Federal motor, but now that this thing is proven it's in much better shape than I expected it to be in, I don't think I'm going to go down that path. I think this light's going to stay the way it is, and I think I'm just going to put it up on the shelf and enjoy it. I mean, that's the best thing you can do with these guys, right? So here we go. Always make sure that whenever you run power to something, you have a fuse in line. Just an FYI, that's my public service announcement here whenever you're running lighting. So I'm running a jump pack with a fuse in line, so that way if something does happen, it blows the fuse and not my light up. But there it is in a nutshell. That's pretty much it there, YouTube. Make a quick video. I know at 9 minutes here. Actually, I think it's over 9 minutes. If I factor the two together, we're looking at about 10 minutes. About 10 minutes here for a Model 14 Series A2 with a blue dome. This is a beauty. This really is a beauty. This is one of the reasons why I like finding lights, is because when you find these and you get pleasantly surprised with a light that's in way, way better condition than I ever expected it to be in. But that's it. So there it is, YouTube. Have